up?
What up?
Hey.
Look at me. This app is freezing.
So it sounds like it's cutting out like crazy, man.
Oh, you're having a hard time hearing me?
A little bit. It's a little better, but
How about now? Ah, son of a bitch. It's because my dad's running the damn vacuum. Hang on.
no, that's all right. It was just choppy when I first logged on. No worries.
Is it clear now?
Yeah. So, question: when you do your stuff for your business, are they seeing like Doctrine of Christ stuff on the screen, like the watermarks and the logos, or no?
Oh, well, I take them off for the
Oh,
live.
okay. Gotcha.
Well, the first live, they were everywhere. In fact, your background of the condemned LDS churches, I was like, shit. Because then a bunch of my customers are Mormons. They're probably like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. Bummer. Hey, so we've got Jim wanting to do tomorrow nights, right?
Yeah.
And he sent me his list of scriptures. It's only like four different scriptures he's going to share. He thinks it's only going to be like 45 minutes tops, maybe half an hour. And so how do we want to handle the live stream format for that? What are your ideas?
Gotcha. Well, so I was wondering if now I have never heard Jim teach. So if so in this case, I don't know if it applies, you tell me. But if we ever have someone that's gonna teach and not certain it's gonna be bomb.com quality, we don't have to necessarily use the live stream and use hypothetically Zoom for those evenings. But Jim might be awesome. I don't know. Have you seen him teach before?
I
know he's competent, obviously.
I've seen him teach a few times. His lessons are really short, kind of like Isbell's, like a half an hour. They're well scripturally grounded. But he's one of those guys that like volunteers a lot to teach on Tuesdays, but he refuses to make any visuals. So I'm kind of pissed off that like we're letting these people through, you know. So we, either we bring in the visuals for him and try to enhance his presentation somehow.
Well, with this format, I don't mind being on here pulling up all those scriptures while he's talking.
Do you think your connection's good enough these days and it'll all work out?
Yeah.
All right. As long as you're controlling that stuff for him, I think we can do a live stream. But I would rather you, if you're going to be controlling it, I would rather you say hello at the beginning and introduce the topic. And then when you're ready, kick it over to Jim, who already has his first thing showing, and, so that it's not, I don't want people doing 5-minute prayers on live casts and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And so maybe we do the thing.
I mean, we could just do it on Zoom though, like I said.
Yeah, when it's done on Zoom though, I can make it a podcast episode, but I'm not going to make a YouTube video unless the visuals are strong,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Since he doesn't have any videos, that's like an automatic no YouTube video, and we might even say from now on it's not going to even be a podcast episode because we're eliminating that. And if you want it, I don't know.
Well, there's still going to be a podcast for everything we do. Every episode we teach, even Tuesday night Zooms and stuff, I make a podcast.
Not Wednesday night, right?
Not Wednesday night unless it's good. If someone steps up and does a Wednesday night and it's awesome, I'll throw it in as a podcast. Otherwise, I'll just leave it,
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So you're going to be there? You're going to be hardwired in and everything?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Talking about tomorrow, right? Or tonight too? Or what are you talking
about? Tomorrow for Jim.
Yeah. Although it turns out my Wi-Fi is plenty fast enough to run it.
I would like to do a live cast as often as we can, honestly.
I think we should start doing. I think we should start doing some of our kind of podcast ideas.
No, I mean like for tomorrow night with Jim. I think we do a live stream.
Instead of Zoom as much as we can. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't want to like set the new norm and then go back to Zoom and then get like 40 attendees and 20 people who can't find the password, and you know what I mean. It just gets all messy. But yeah, but
Well, I don't want to necessarily set anything in stone where, because if we need it, I want to be flexible so that if we need to, we could say, well, we're going to do Zoom this week.
Yeah, but I need to know before I create the calendar invite and send this out to all my channels.
No,
right?
I hear you. I'm just bringing up the general idea. But I think Jim's solid enough to present, and if I can show his scriptures, and I'll ask him to send them to me.
I've actually got them for you already. Let me just send them over your way.
Gotcha.
I mean, I can even prepare it if you want. I can get all the screenshots compressed. And how do you want to do it? PowerPoint deck or?
I'm not going to create a PowerPoint.
You're just doing screenshots, or are you going to
do screenshots? I
on the internet?
Well, I'm going to practice a little bit more with the tabs because so far in all of my live practices between Thursday and now, I haven't had the same issue you had, but I'm only using Chrome. So I haven't had any screen resolution refreshing issues.
Yeah, and I think you can have them on tabs as long as you're not scrolling constantly. It shouldn't be an issue,
And I mean, the screenshot thing just sounds like a nightmare. I mean, I'm going to do it if I have to, but so far all my tests have come out fine.
Okay, that's fine. Yes. So I like the idea of having tabs open. Whatever it is, let's have it loaded before we show it, right? Because if you use Google Docs or whatever, you go to the next slide, it has to kind of try to load that real quick from the internet.
Well, right. Well, so that's my. So I'm going to try. What I haven't tried is, and I'm going to do it here shortly, is a test where I have all 30 tabs open at the same time. I haven't tried that.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing that makes me nervous is all those tabs open at once.
Yeah, so I'll find out within the next hour for sure if that's the case. And
you know what? It would probably be better for us to just close a tab when we're done with it instead of leaving it eternally open.
Exactly.
Now, the idea is you should save all of your tabs as bookmarks into one folder.
Which I already did. That's what I told you I did that. Look at
this. So if you need to go back to something, it's still there. You can pull it up real quick, but you don't have 70 tabs open, and a smoke pouring out of your computer.
Well, but like you said, it might be that issue of waiting for it to load. So you can see it right here. False Prophets tab, and there it is, all in order of the presentation.
Where am I looking?
It's taking a second because the screen has to catch up live, which is weird. Oh, why isn't it? Oh, you know what? It doesn't show. I clicked on. See how the folder's highlighted on the right?
Yeah.
Well, I have it open and dropped down, but it's just not showing you.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool because that means the audience wouldn't be able to see what's coming up next.
You should probably have like a different window open then, right? One for your StreamYard control, the other one for your screen sharing, right?
Well, I'll have the monitor here, and all this will be on the monitor. But I'm just showing you right now.
Let's do a little test.
Test of what? My monitor's not here yet. It's getting delivered in the next couple hours.
Oh, okay. And I've got a second monitor as well you can use if you need it in case it doesn't show up or whatever.
Of course, I could actually. Just kidding. I can test it on my TV right now. Just let me plug that in. Grab my cord. My awesome HDMI cord. So for a while, I was worried that this Ethernet cable had an issue, and kicking me off. Future brother-in-law was here to help me figure it out. Some really stupid setting on Windows, and then in the attempt to fix that, it caused it to turn off my Wi-Fi, and that's why I had that issue yesterday at the school, and it took me forever just to get the Wi-Fi turned back on. So We started like 25 minutes late.
What issue again?
Oh, well, in trying to fix this glitch that I was telling you about, that was
Yeah.
causing the issues. My future brother-in-law, he accidentally turned off a feature in Way Buried Deep, a feature that
Oh yeah, you told me that.
allowed me to have Wi-Fi.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't that he went into my Wi-Fi settings and turned off Wi-Fi, because when I opened up my Wi-Fi settings, there wasn't even an option to turn it off or turn it on. So he had disabled it from the back end on accident. But he had fixed my other glitch issue. Okay, so turn on the TV, and now I've got a second monitor. It's like 50 inches. I'm just kidding. My TV's not that big. I don't know how big it is. Probably 40.
Well, the smaller the resolution, the better. So,
well, how do I change the resolution on my TV?
I don't know. But when you're presenting on your second monitor, make your second monitor like not full resolution, and then
okay, I'll have to have you show me how to do that. I've never done something like that before.
Okay. I mean, usually you push buttons at the bottom of your monitor, right?
Well, I don't know. I've never done it before, like I said.
I'm gonna mute. I gotta take this phone call. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. All right. So what are we testing here? Your tabs being open.
Yeah, that's what that's what you wanted to see, right?
Yeah.
So you see so what you're looking at right now is my TV.
Yep.
Sweet, that's so huge. I love it. So of course I'm going to be using my other monitor tonight. It'll fit on my desk. I bought a small one, about like a 20-inch monitor.
Yeah, those are perfect for this kind of thing.
Right. Okay, so click false profits. Being done thing outside of the screen. Oh, duh. No, I don't do it that way. I guess I right click each of these. I wish you could just hit a thing and say open all, or is that something that I just don't know about?
Yeah. Hold on. So right click on that folder.
Right click on the folder. Oh.
Don't do a new window. Don't. That'll bog down your system. Do open all. First one. But you want to do that several minutes before we start, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, so it's already ready to go.
Yep, and I would definitely close those out, because your memory usage on your browser is going to be insane with that many tabs open.
You would close them out when
you're done with them.
Oh, as we go, right?
And there's you can hit Control W or whatever it is on Windows, and it closes the current window.
Oh, instead of hitting the X.
Yeah, it basically hits the X for you with Command W or whatever it is. See how a lot of those are just still loading?
I can't see because my stupid TV cut them off.
No, I mean like yeah.
Oh, I can see it on this screen, yeah.
The tabs are just circling, see that?
Yeah, I see it on this other screen.
The problem with having a ton of tabs open you're not using is like they're drawing web resources as well. So like if there's advertisements on that page that are refreshing, or there's a lot of back and forth going on most websites.
Well, I think it would be fine and work great to just open each tab as we go along. I think it will open up fine and not take forever to load. But like I said, I'm gonna test that. Well, I guess can I test it now? I'm running a live stream. I'm actually running a live stream to my business YouTube, which no one looks at. So This is on there live right now, but there's no one on there that follows it, so it doesn't matter. I'll delete it afterwards. Stupid TV cuts off. There we go.
I'm going to add another overlay to the studio.
Cool.
And that should be like your home screen before you get talking. You know, have your face on one side and your opening slide on the next. You know, the title of it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is necessary to do all of these tabs like this.
Oops, sorry.
Nope, you're good.
So that's in there now. See that?
I like it.
So anyway, just show that at the beginning with your screen.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm a little nervous with this many tabs being open, but we'll see how it goes. You know, or you know what you can do is you can have like you can break them into folders, and you can only open up like one folder at a time that has like 3 or 4 instead of like 40. You just create new folders and drag 3 or 4 of them into that folder. You know, if we need to reduce resources, that's an option to you. Did I lose you?
Myself out on it. Can you hear me? You're on mute. So how can you send me that image of this overlay right here?
What'd you say?
Can you send me this image of this overlay so I can post it as a an actual image so that I can have my face next to it? Otherwise, it'll just cover the screen.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But if you send it to me as an image, I can do it as one. I can do it as one of these other options, and then my head can be next to it.
Oh yeah, so that would be. We should probably make it a background too, right? Oh, you already have.
Yeah, one of these backgrounds.
I'm gonna get rid of my other background.
Well, you have this other background here from last week. I can just use that one again.
Yeah, just you try that one.
Yeah, like that.
Because where the words are, it's not going to be.
Well, as a background, you don't want the words there because then it's just a little cumbersome.
So background there. Do you still want the image sent to you?
Well, were you talking about like when I first start? You kind of thinking of having my head here, like so, and like, well, I'll take you off the screen, and then I'll have so instead of like this, and I can have that right next to me, right here.
Let me show you. So you're not using a PowerPoint, so yeah, I guess it is kind of weird, but Here, I'm going to hit you on a text.
Well, but I can display it in the same way as a PowerPoint,
Yeah. And so go ahead and click that video of mine last week. And that's ideally how we want to start everybody out,
Let's see, let me look at it.
Then again, that was screen number 1 in my PowerPoint. So it was my screen, but you can go to a full screen on a tab of that image. You can open any image in a browser and just show that full screen, right?
Right. Okay. Can you hear my video audio?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, having that right there next to my head.
Yep.
Just like, so right now it shows my Google thing, but instead of that, I will open it in a tab. Did you texted it to me, you said?
No, but I will if you want to.
DM it to me. That'll be easier because then I can just right click it from the messenger. Dude, did you read that messages from last night about Abraham scolding me?
I read some of it. What was Abraham's deal?
I don't know. That's why I asked him.
Kind of pushing too hard on certain things, or what?
No, like well, first of all, he's got a real like soft spot or hard spot for like all of us Doctrine of Christ people. Like a real bitter. What's that?
Like he doesn't like us?
He doesn't like us. Well, I mean, it's fine. He liked me just fine. He doesn't like our teachings.
Well, yeah, because they conflict, 40 years of his academic career. I mean, why would he?
So, but I mean, he liked me just fine, right? And okay, so do you see that? It didn't open it in the full thing. It made a small one. Is it because you compressed it?
I don't know. Push Control plus a bunch. There you go.
Yeah, that's all blurry because you compressed it. Send it to me big.
Can't do that. I mean, it's a 1280 by 720. That's as high as it gets. So if you're displaying a monitor that's 3,000 pixels wide, you have to make it,
Oh, well, my monitor this evening will be smaller.
Good. Yeah. Smaller the better.
So anyway, in the Isaiah group, there was a thread that was just discussing who the end time servant was. And so there were a bunch of opinions, including some about Joseph Smith coming back. And so I commented as well, just adding my opinion. And I linked my 2 presentations from doctrineofchrist.com. And I think that's what ticked off Abraham.
What define ticked off? Did he say something to you, or did he shut down the phone?
I screenshot the email. He was scolding. He emailed me, and the subject line of the email was "your unethical recruiting practices."
Okay.
And he said, "Dustin, please stop using Isaiah Institute platforms to recruit to your Doctrine of Christ followers. That kind of unethical behavior is slimy and unbecoming of the grandiose claims of your group." I'm like, what are the grandiose claims of our group? "You may have, quote, joy in your works for a season as you lead people out of the Lord's church, but beware. By and by the end comes, and where will you and your cohorts go then? The way of all the other splinter groups, Abraham." And I said, whoa. Now, he sent that at 10 a.m., but I didn't see it till 11 p.m. And it was regarding my stuff, but the conversation in the group happened Saturday night. But my post was not obviously trying to recruit. It was just part of the discussion, right? And I didn't post it trying to recruit anyone. We were talking about it, and I said, well, here's my presentations. So that obviously I can't fit them all in here in this Facebook chat, so let me just send you to where I'm talking about more scriptures and quotes. And I guess he viewed that as me trying to recruit to Doctrine of Christ. So I see this at 11 o'clock, and I just say, whoa, slow down. I don't appreciate this accusation, Abraham. Please call me on the phone to discuss this, and please do not accuse without first coming like a gentleman and asking me about my intentions and my actions. He has my phone number.
Yeah, I bet he won't bother.
What's that?
I bet he won't call you.
No, he won't. He's too afraid. But then I saw that he CC'd a whole bunch of other people, which after I looked into it, they're the admins of the group.
Yep.
And then I said, I sent a private. So then I did a reply all. I said, I sent a private reply to Avraham as his message to me should have been private. This open accusation without coming to me directly, like a gentleman, to ask about my actions and intentions and allowing me to speak and answer for myself is unacceptable and unprofessional and certainly unnecessary and unchristlike. If any of you who receive this email have any issue with anything I've posted, please let me know and contact me directly. Making accusations of others behind their backs is just as slimy as whatever any of you think I've been trying to do. And I'll testify here that I have not been going around trying to recruit people from Isaiah Institute to the Doctrine of Christ group in any way that is conniving, dishonest, disrespectful, or deceitful. From what little I know of each of those I've met and had interactions with, I have utmost respect for you, and we are all pulling for Christ here, despite any differences in understanding of doctrines or prophecies here or there. Do not accuse, ask. All my love, Dustin Grady. And then I'm trying to search through it, and I see that they kicked me out of the group and banned me. And then after talking with Malia and Melly and whoever else was on the chat last night, I finally dawned on me that it was likely because I posted those links. Because I couldn't think of anything else I said in any comment. It was just, I was just part of the discussion like any old dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, I've been sitting here wondering what in the world could have caused such an uproar. I truly couldn't understand. Then it dawned on me that last night I shared 2 links on a post. The discussion was about the end-time servant. Many opinions abounded, and there was much discussion. I linked to 2 presentations that I gave where I attempted to explain what I had studied about Joseph coming back. To say that that was an attempt to recruit people to the DOC is absolutely untrue and taking my actions completely out of context. It was an innocent attempt to add more scriptures and quotes to the discussion from my own mouth and perspective that would have been too lengthy to attempt to type out in the post. If that broke the group rules for posting an outside link, I deeply apologize because none of that was my intention. I see that I've been removed and banned from the group. That's not necessary. I'm an earnest and contributing member. I do not come with ulterior motives or schemes. I have been upfront with Avraham and Rodolfo about my views of things from the very start, and I haven't ever pulled punches or attempted to be something that I'm not. Hopefully this can be seen for what it is, a mistake and a misunderstanding, and that there can be forgiveness and reconciliation. All my love and respect, Dustin Grady. And then Avraham replied an hour ago, I'm okay with restoring Dustin to the group and giving him another chance if you all are. What do you think?
So who are the admins? Rodolfo?
Rodolfo and a bunch of others. And then Rodolfo replied, I think Dustin should be aware of our goals and concerns before being blocked. We don't want to be connected to Doctrine of Christ group and website. This means no links from their site and to their website. Why? Because it's not our intention to drive people out of the church, but we want to publish the words of Isaiah. Also, no messaging directly to people from our group. We have received messages from people expressing their discontent by receiving private messages to their presentations. Abraham has been very reserved in his work not to reveal the identity of the end-time servant described in Isaiah because Nephi and Moroni did that. Also, in our lectures, it has been expressed that is not Joseph Smith. We expect people to go over the Institute work instead of constantly trying to prove different ideas that creates more confusion than help. I think if that is clear, then Dustin should be back. We want everyone to go over the words of Isaiah. Okay.
I respect that.
Well, I don't respect the idea of that you can't argue that it's Joseph Smith because tons of people in the group do that, and they're not going and banning all those people for having that opinion. So I'm going to make that point, but I'm going to happily say I'm happy to not post any links.
Yeah, but you're a competitor, whether you try to be or not, to the insecure academics who craft their way into a career with a viewpoint. You know.
Well, that's just Avraham. The rest of these guys are just volunteers that like Avraham's work.
Yeah.
I have never had any intention of. Oh, I think I'm going to clarify that the Doctrine of Christ does not tell anyone to leave the church, and nor do we try, because we're actually all members.
Actually, shoot it down. Tell them it's not even a group. There's no movement, you know, there's no foundation. His group is a group. It's a foundation. Ours is not. We haven't organized articles of confederation. We don't have a mission statement. There's none of that. You know?
The Doctrine of Christ is not a group. An organized group.
Say it's not an organized group like yours is. His is an organized group with a mission statement. Ours
We
is
have
not.
no set beliefs and no set goals other than to try to teach from the scriptures.
And you can tell them any member of your group is welcome Monday or Tuesday nights anytime to take the microphone and create your own content.
True.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to add the phrase like yours is, because that almost sounds like an us versus them. I'm just going to say we are not an organized group. We have no set beliefs and no set goals other than try to teach from the scriptures. The majority of us are still in the church, so please stop accusing me or anyone else of actively trying to remove members from the church. Anything else I need to clarify on that point? Oh, also, we welcome any of you to present anytime to our Facebook group on
do our Facebook channel, Facebook or YouTube channel, and say you can say something like that, which already has over 25 different contributors to it and counting.
anytime to our Facebook YouTube channel. Wait, what you said? Present like with scriptures and stuff, or whatever. Any prepared content you want to prepare? Any content you want to prepare from the scriptures?
Any scripture-centered content, yeah.
There are over
25 different presenters.
25 different contributors, and we do not have a set belief system. Contrary to what has been indicated.
Yeah, I think we all have to work really hard to dispel the idea that we are a group. Because now you've got anybody who's part of our Facebook group speaking for the whole group, and it's just a dangerous, slippery slope, I think. We're not a group. We have open mic nights. If any of those guys want to teach, come on in. Like Joseph Smith, we'll give you the pulpit. Come on in. Teach us how we're wrong. We'll happily listen,
Also, I haven't coached any members privately from the Isaiah group via private messaging.
You should say something to the effect of, please let us know who from our community is doing this, and we'll put an end to it immediately.
But if there are instances, well, no, but we're not a group, so I'm not going to say I'm being held responsible for Dustin Smith's actions because we're not a group.
But you can say if anybody who you see as from our group is doing anything like this, we're happy to have conversation with them and try to get them to, respect your group's rules a little more. Yeah, I mean, do you want this bridge burned or do you want it to be salvaged? I mean, it all comes down to you. If you don't care, then
I'm not burning it, but there's a difference between just saying, "Oh, I'll do whatever you wish," and saying, "Hey, I'm happy to do that, but you guys, you have to be reasonable because I'm talking to reasonable people here." Abraham, despite his pride, is reasonable. I mean, notice his first response is, "I'm okay letting him back," even though he didn't apologize. He should have apologized. he should have apologized for jumping to a conclusion and not contacting me. So
I would imagine his moderators probably put the worm in his ear. I would imagine they had an internal discussion and he just reached out as a result of that. Is my best guess, but
well, no, because look at how maybe, but look how scathing the thing was. And if Rodolfo did it, I'm super annoyed at Rodolfo because I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Rodolfo is more in line with like he's good friends with Todd McLaughlin, who talks massive smack about our group being like a bunch of apostates that secretly try to get people out of the church, you know. I think he's even in Todd's ward. You know, Todd's moving to St. George soon, but does that make sense? They're part of the same social circles. So we do have a reputation of being like aggressively proselyting to people, you know? And I would imagine that probably wears off in some of those comments in the group, in their group. All right. So is this you all set up for tonight, or do you need some help with managing comments and stuff?
Well, I'm not going to manage comments. I'm just going to present. But I think most of the comments on the screen were kind of distracting last week. But I think you were just playing around with it and testing it out.
Do you want to do no comments shown until Q&A?
Not necessarily none. It just depends on what comment comes up.
How about supportive ones?
But ones that you type out are fine. Because I like that idea of a floating question or comment that ties in or that is directly related to what I'm saying.
So I will try to get people to post their comments. So I'll say something like, what do you guys think about whatever, you know, and try to drum up comments during the presentation here and there like you did with mine. I think that works.
I would say, since this is going to be recorded and be on the screen, I would be like, what is sheep's clothing? Comment below and have that be the banner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Stuff like that would be great. And I would probably try not to do too many of them.
Yeah, maybe 3 tops, you know, if that.
Yeah, like a few key ones. You're like, oh, this one's great. Let's try and get some comments on this. So yeah, I want this email to be kind, but I also want it to stand a firm ground of saying I'm not going to let you say that we're trying to get people to leave the church. I'm not, you know. So I also want to say I'm not trying to poach anybody. But if there are instances where someone from our Facebook group has annoyed any of the admins or members of the Isaiah group, please reach out to me and let me know, and I will personally have a conversation with them. But I need to reiterate this, since we're not organized, there's no hierarchy or anything. Like I can't. So I want to be able to present to them the idea that I want to reinforce that idea that no one's beholden to anybody in our group because we're not an organized group. I'll just say, since we are not an organized group, I can't really stop anyone, but I can attempt to persuade, if that makes sense. And I'm happy to comply. In the case of Saturday night, I reached out to PM, a fellow group member, just to have further discussion of her experiences, because she talked about like having visions and whatnot of Joseph coming back, which is not an attempt to poach or recruit. So I would appreciate I don't know. I would appreciate you getting off my back.
I don't know. Shorter the
No, I'm
better.
not gonna- What's that?
Shorter the better, I would think, with these.
Right. So just, which is not an attempt to approach or recruit, just period.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe just reaffirm that you love their institute's work and you're supportive of it, that you'd like to be an ally, not an enemy, you know?
Yeah, I consider myself an ally to all of the work of Isaiah Institute. I promote it constantly.
And say the majority of the people from the Facebook group maybe use the Isaiah translation more often than not, you know, just maybe he doesn't know that we're supporters of him in general. It's weird though, because you do have to talk from terms of like our group, you know, which is kind of uncomfortable language.
I'll just say our Facebook group.
Yeah.
I'll just say, instead of our, I'll just say the Doctrine of Christ. I consider myself an ally to all the work of Isaiah Institute. I promote constantly and direct people to it, and by far the majority of the Doctrine of Christ Facebook group users also utilize Abraham's Isaiah translation, and we discuss his books and work constantly.
Often. Not constantly.
Well, I like to work constantly because it almost is constantly.
Yeah, whatever you want to write, it's fine. It's your message, you know.
Yeah, no, I like your help. I appreciate it.
I like the idea of us giving accolades to other groups, you know. Occasionally peppering in some praise for who here and there, you know. The Isaiah Institute translation. You'll notice that every time I get into like the changes of the texts, you know,
Yeah.
I will often give Measuring Doctrine credit for that, and I'll recommend people buy his books.
Right.
That way, if he ever comes to me, I'm like, "Hey, what are you talking about, dude? I'm telling everybody to buy your book. I got no beef with you, you know." Kind of goes a long way. Don't do it for what's his name, Watcher. He'll accuse you of stealing his stuff.
Right.
So weird how he tries to patent ideas and interpretations from the scriptures.
I know.
You know?
I praise Rodolfo behind his back frequently for all of his knowledge and work.
You say that?
I'm adding that in here. I do. I constantly say how much he knows and how much he does for the Institute.
Yeah,
look, Rodolfo responded to me finally.
Rodolfo's awesome. I'm a huge fan of him.
He sent me a super long message. Hi, Dustin. Sorry about this. This definitely went south very quickly. We have people messaging us of people from our group who have been getting private messages about the Doctrine of Christ presentations. Some of the people of the group have complained about because of the efforts of leading people out of the church. Then that became part of our board conversations that we don't want to be associated with the Doctrine of Christ group. I think yesterday everything went south too quickly. We have a big team overseeing social media, and I was not expecting that email and also blocking you without expressing what our expectations, which are not links to the Doctrine of Christ site, even when it is related to Isaiah topic, because they will see the other topics which we don't agree with. That's totally fine, whatever. We don't want to drive people out of the church. I just hate that they keep accusing us of driving people out of the church. Second, we don't want the people to come to our group. We don't want people to come to our group through our marketing efforts being privately messaged to the content of the Doctrine of Christ website. Again, most of our board members are members of the church. This has been a topic of discussion among us, and I believe that is why things got heated that fast. I think we should have warned privately instead of how things went off. I'll also I'll send also an email about it.
All right, cool. Do you think it's Dustin Smith going in there?
Probably. He's one that sends.
He's the most active with.
Well, and he sends links constantly to tons of people.
Yeah. Oh well, whatever. It's getting messy,
I mean, whatever. If these guys want to bar me at the end of the day, because they're going to hard their hearts and say you're trying to recruit people out of the church, I'm like, no, I'm not. Whatever.
The idea being, like, you provided those links just because you were in the middle of a conversation about it, and that's where all your
That's what the
footnotes
info
are.
is. I mean, I could have just provided it to. I mean, I have a copy of it on my own YouTube channel, but I'm like, whatever. If I need to copy and paste it into a Google Doc, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, imagine like Rodolfo and Avraham and a bunch of people in our group posting links to the Isaiah Institute. I don't think people would have a big problem with that, do you?
No, especially if it's not a random post that just says everyone come over here, because that's not what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
I didn't post the link to the Facebook group.
You were providing your citations for a heated conversation about Joseph, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even heated. It was just a nice open debate. It was a nice one. Like, it was, no one was getting mad at anybody, which was pleasant for a change. And it was like, yeah, here's what I think. And since some people are talking about it, I have a whole bunch of scriptures in quotes that someone else already referenced,
Yeah. Okay, so you ready to go for tonight?
Yeah, I'll let you go.
Cool. So I'll show up and I'll monitor some stuff on social only, but you've got all the overlays you need and all that stuff, right?
Yes, I am still. Yeah, I'm gonna keep testing this whole thing.
Do you want me to put overlays of whatever scripture we're on? So, for example, like Jeremiah 23 in the bottom where it says D. Patrick right now.
Oh, those are awesome. The little scrolling that just says what.
So what I've realized is, your last one was three hours, and I've watched it like in 3 or 4 different segments. But it's really hard for me to go back to where I left off because sometimes it'll start from the beginning again. And so,
that's weird because my YouTube always saves it, and I just keep going right back to where I stopped.
It usually does, but in some cases, like if I'm watching it from like Facebook link or whatever, and it's an embedded one, there's just not always the transfer of data. But I would love to be able to scroll through or scrub through and see in the bottom corner like what topic you're on, like Matthew 23, right? Luke 21 or Matthew 21. So if I keep your chapter names in the bottom corner, that might help us to go to certain spots in the presentation, right? Or is that too much going on? Is it going to cover your material too much?
The scrolling thing at the bottom is so thin, it's not going to cover anything.
Oh, you want to do the scrolling thing, or do you want to do like just the tag that says?
Oh, well, when it says what scripture I'm on, I like the scrolling. I like the scrolling one, and then just to use the big thick one for the random occasional question thing.
Okay, so then use the ticker for telling you what you're on, right?
Yeah.
I wish they could do this without it moving. Like it would just stay at the bottom of a message down there.
Yeah, that's a feedback we should send to them.
Because this one's almost too big. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, say, hey, could we make the ticker be still or scrolling?
And these are really, really big, right?
Yeah,
except for the minimal. The minimal is the smallest one,
Yeah, it's still kind of big. Here's the frustration I have with using the LDS.org scripture page. It only is this wide instead of taking up the whole screen. And if I want to make it bigger, it's still only this wide. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you can let me think of how you could do that.
So when I screenshot it, I'm making tons of images, for what could just be literally one screenshot if it would all just fill the page.
Yeah.
So if you had, that was one thing I wanted to run by you for ideas.
Let's see. You could use the. Well, no. There's also the reformatted scriptures,
That's true.
which would you'd have to go to certain. I don't know how to deep link into certain pages. We can probably figure that out, but. Let me go to measuring doctrine, reformatted scriptures, and see. So we did like Old Testament, right? So this Old Testament's in 3 different volumes. You're probably in volume 3 with Jeremiah.
I don't want to use that. I can maybe just copy and paste it to Google Docs. It's probably going to have enough speed just fine to share the tabs, but I won't know until I keep practicing, which is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't want there to be any surprises tonight, so I'm just going to keep practicing this afternoon. So I'm not really getting any work done today for my business, but I don't care. Whatever.
You can try to shorten it a little bit. I think with all the technical difficulties, you're probably going to come in about 2 hours, right? Just the material.
Well, the 3 hours was with the Q&A.
Yeah, plus all the technical problems that slowed us down. We had a 10-minute late start.
So this is my idea, and I don't know if you don't like it. I like it. I'm thinking once I'm done with the presentation, I don't know if you're going to be on or not, but if you are on, I think I'm just taking a couple of pertinent questions that are just like really good questions that came up. And then otherwise, I'm thinking of posting the link to the Zoom to just end the broadcast. And for anyone who wants to come on for more open discussion, go over to Zoom, not record or anything, just chat and discuss and whatever. So people can still have that sense of community, and it doesn't make the YouTube video so long, because that's my problem, is I don't want that YouTube video to look so daunting for people that come across it and be like, I don't want to commit to 3 hours when an hour and a half of that was just chatting and not even part of it.
Okay. Yeah, so however you want to do that.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty easy. I'll just be ahead. And so we're taking a couple of questions here, after which we're going to move over to Zoom for open discussion and whatnot. So here we go, and then I can just post the Zoom link in this comment thread, and it will shoot out to all the places, to Facebook and YouTube. Do you think we should broadcast just to YouTube, or what are you thinking?
I think we should always go YouTube and the Doctrine of Christ Facebook page, not the group. I think the Facebook page. You can always link into it from the group, but
you just post it into the group, the link to the Facebook page live.
Yeah, Facebook page, YouTube page. Those are the only 2 I think we should hit.
Because like Ariane was watching it in the group, and she was like, "Oh, there just weren't anyone commenting, and I feel like I wasn't really part of it." And I was like, "Well, most of the people on YouTube." She's like, "Well, maybe I'll go to YouTube from now on."
I would like for people to go to YouTube. They don't require authentication to use their username and password, right? I mean, their username and their picture. Sorry. You don't have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. You know what I mean?
So why push to Facebook at all? Because that just takes up the bandwidth of the stream.
I want Facebook page to be one of the main hubs for these things. At least that's where the events are listed for the calendar.
Yeah, but the event can link to the YouTube directly.
That's true. You want to just do YouTube only then?
Well, so I like the concept, but it makes me nervous to be pushing to two places at once with the few technical difficulties that we've had. I and since this is already a redo of this one, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Okay.
Um,
Let me update the event to get rid of the other one.
because here's an example. Like with Jim's tomorrow, and hopefully this doesn't sound mean or anything, but with Jim's tomorrow, let's practice going back to two of them and see what happens. Because if something happens to his, it's not this huge prepared thing that if we lose it, it's like son of a b, we have to redo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, I would rather push our YouTube channel as far as subscribers and followers way more than I would our Facebook group. I don't want everybody who listens to that presentation going into our Facebook group necessarily, right? Because it's a little different.
Right.
Because it's so focused on Christ and his teachings. It's not about secret combinations and Gadiantons and vaccines and all the other crap we talk about, right?
Right.
And so it's a subgroup. So all of my links I push to YouTube already. Go to the event on Dr. Christ's page.
Okay. Green. Right. Okay, I'm there. 600 and wait, no, shoot, I hit the group again. 93 followers. 93 like it. Okay, got it. I mean, you can share YouTube into the group too, and then we can just post that as an announcement.
Let's push everybody to YouTube. I think that'd be awesome.
I think, and then everyone will be there. And I know that that was a huge thing that Ariane said that she would have liked better, which was
Is
her
what?
own, well, just being able to be where everyone was because she didn't realize that all the streams were separated. So that she's in the Facebook group and there's a few people watching there and no one's commenting. Most of the people
Right.
commenting on YouTube. So she said it wasn't interactive like she was hoping for.
I'm going to say to join, go to the Doctrine of Christ YouTube channel. And then I put a link directly to the live cast.
Well, in the event itself, you can say this event is done online, and it says, "Oh, what's the link to where it's done?" And then
Yeah, that's already goes straight to YouTube.
and it goes straight to YouTube. Or you've
Yep.
already got it that way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I try to get everybody over to YouTube. And then guess what? It says live in 8 hours. And you can set reminders,
Right. So what are you gonna do right now? You just said then you're gonna make a post in the event.
No, I updated the event description to have the introductory paragraph. This is a restream of May 3rd presentation with the same title due to technical difficulties. Lesson, live Q&A, and live discussion. To join, go to the Doctrine of Christ YouTube channel, and then I have a link straight to that live cast, right?
Yeah.
So I like the idea of us just streaming to you. I'm okay with only one channel. I would rather drive people to YouTube first, and then they get a sense for our teachings. They get to see some other videos if they want them. And then if they're really, really interested, I guess they can come find us on Facebook or whatever, right? Are you looking at it? You there, man?
Back.
He's back.
That was annoying. I have the computer unplugged and it just, I guess the power was getting too low, and so it just shut off.
So, did you change the colors for my brand to be hot pink?
Well, no, I didn't change the color for your brand. I changed the color for a specific live. Just change it back. Here, I'll change it back.
Let me go find that color real quick. There's a certain color. Hold on.
It's close to that one at the very least.
Well, I've got a dropper. I can just pick the color.
Oh wait, how do you get a dropper on this?
I'm using a different software to do it. Hold on.
Oh, gotcha.
Actually, do they have a little dropper here?
No, I just tried.
Damn it.
Pick it yourself. But if you see the code, you can type in the code. What's the code for it? I'll
I'm
type it.
gonna find it real quick. Hold on.
Ugh, I don't want this email to be too lengthy, but at the same time, I'm like, you can't just throw all these accusations and not allow me to address them to defend ourselves, right? I haven't sent the email yet.
Okay, so when you do stuff for your own brand, that's fine. But just create a new brand for that.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Where do you do that?
Look at the very top.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought you just had one brand.
No worries. Just create a new one, and then you can just toggle. And so all of my overlays will be for Doctrine of Christ, and then all of your overlays would be on your brand number 2, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm gonna call. What do you call your name? Your company?
D. Patrick's Fashion Corner.
Right.
Being.
So now you can, you can have
sense.
your own, and then we just do a little toggle at the top, back to Doctrine of Christ. You know, not a huge deal, but you probably didn't know that was available, right?
I didn't. I would have done that instead of creating that headache.
Yep. So when I go to comments, banners. Some of my banners they're like hidden, you know? So this is nice because we can always have doctrineofchrist.com in the corner. They can always see the website. Also, maybe I just use that bottom right blue strip and move that up a little bit and save a new version of it, you know? Do you get the sense that as we're going to get bigger and bigger, that it's going to get a lot messier with more drama?
Well, considering that people have to be killed, that's about as dramatic as it gets.
Yeah. Live.
But I would hope that before that day comes, the Rodolfos and the Abrahams out there will relax and stop fighting their own allies.
Yeah, we definitely need to lead the charge in that too, right?
We do. We talk about it a lot too. I think you talk about it the most, and I'm probably a close second or third in encouraging people to remember that just because we disagree with somebody on some doctrines that we consider key doesn't mean they're not allies. Like, I'm constantly saying Snufferites are our allies.
They are. Don't burn those bridges. There's no reason to. Like, you know?
Dustin struggles with that because he's got his mindset.
he's a dogmatic person, and that's okay. That's just how his brain works.
Right. This is how his brain works. Yeah.
And he needs that. He's very black and white in his thinking.
Right.
And, I mean, it works for him, but like, if that works for you and that's your mindset, you should not be on the public relations team of this group. Sorry.
Right.
It's not a good fit for you to be out messaging everybody and trying to full Nelson them and MMP them to death, line upon line kind of thing.
So this has been running live now for an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm pulling up on here. I guess I should screen share so that you can see it happen. I guess that's now let's see how quick these things populate, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to click the next thing, and then close that one out. I'm done with that. Then I keep this one open. Actually, instead of opening a new tab, I just click that. New tab. So far it's working.
Yeah, this has been a pretty smooth stream.
Which is encouraging. I'm getting excited.
Yeah, so as long as I'm not the main one presenting, so I'm going to be at my house tonight, right? So I think if I'm in the background, not sharing anything,
Yeah, it shouldn't matter at all. You're just doing the other stuff.
I should be toggling on-off switches for comments, and that's really it. So should I create a little overlay that has the Zoom thing? It says question and answers will be handled on Zoom, and it has the Zoom ID number and the password. Should we do that?
Why an overlay, do you think? Because I think it's just to type in the comments and then people will see it. And then click on it and have that direct link, right? Or what do you think?
So maybe my overlay will be, we'll continue a live discussion on Zoom or something like that. And I'll say something like, link is in the comments.
Yeah.
And that way we don't give away our thing on camera, what our Zoom meeting is.
Right, exactly.
And then after it's over, after the Zoom meeting's over, like we should comment, right?
Yep, I already thought of that. So
Awesome.
Notice this, Mark, when I come to this page, is there a way for me to save it zoomed in, or is that just something I have to do right away?
The more zoomed in you are, the more you have to scroll. So you kind of have to find that happy medium, right?
Well, but it's an hour and 20 minutes in, and I'm scrolling with zero issue. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's what I'm trying to test right now to see how it behaves.
Sure. I don't know if, having 200 people on here with you would slow things down, right?
But will it slow my screen down? I don't know.
I think you're okay. I would make it.
But we want it big enough for people to see, though, right?
But you want it a few smaller. That's good right there. I think that would be a good happy medium. So
Especially
that way you can show two verses at the same time.
Especially if I take my face out of it and make it a little bigger like this, right?
I would go one click smaller. Let's see how that looks.
There.
Control negative. So is there any way we can you toggle off the Hebrew script on the right?
No, the Isaiah Institute doesn't do that. The Isaiah Institute does all three, which is stupid.
That's okay, because if we come across like Bible scholars and stuff that are looking at this, like that adds credibility, I think.
I think it does, because it's like, whoa, he's got the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't work. Now, I don't have to do the side by side. I keep doing it because I guess I'm always worried about the people get lost all the time when Phil reads from the Isaiah Institute translation. I love showing the other one, but it's not necessary.
Showing what other one?
I could just show it like this and show just the Isaiah Institute. and not next to the King James? I don't have to do side by side.
I think it's good to have it side by side. I really do.
Well, I personally like it, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So we're talking.
I think it looks really, really professional to have the Hebrew script and also the KJV.
So is that big enough? It still seems a little small.
It's a little small. Go one more up. That's probably good right there.
That's 300%.
And I would. Yeah, let's see. What are the options for your face here?
Well, most of the time I'll have my face next to it, but I think on screens like this one, I'll take it off and change it to full presentation mode for a second. But it's only going to be for a second. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I'll jump right back in.
Yeah, so you can actually, instead of clicking those 7 buttons on the bottom, those little thumbnails to change the layout.
You toggle? How do you toggle?
So in the upper right corner of D Patrick, your screen share, there's a little blue box. So click on it. I'm sorry, upper left corner of your D Patrick screen sharing icon at the bottom.
Just exit full screen?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Off and on, bro. So you don't have to worry about changing those formats, Here's what I would do.
I wish there was a keyboard. I wish there was a keyboard shortcut because I have to bring my mouse clear over from the other screen.
Oh, you do? You know what? If I'm watching tonight, I can toggle that for you and you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And here's what I'm going to do. Anytime you're reading the scriptures, I'll go to full screen so it's less confusing, right? Full screen, we're going to show just the scripture. And then anytime you're commenting on it, I'll bring you in. And so
I was thinking about that, but I do so much interjecting that could get confusing for you. It is a nice idea, but it requires. It's almost something I'd have to do on my own.
Up to you.
Because then.
But remember, what you don't want is the screen to be the same for 3 minutes straight. That's boring. And so any change in the screen, it also commands attention and it keeps you.
Right. Well, because I like. So for the most part, I want my face next to the screen like this. I want to only make it full screen when probably on the Isaiah ones, and that's it. The other ones have my head next to it, and then I want. Last time my head was next to it the entire time except for a couple of moments. This time I want to toggle back to full face screen like this more frequently. And then immediately right back in. So that means, but that's a lot of transitioning. So, you can also toggle over here too. Exit solo. Oh, nice. That's way easier. Like that. So, yeah, I think I definitely need to do that more tonight. But since you'd be, I don't know. I guess you could try and do it, but I'm wondering if that would be too much of a headache because you have to react to me and be like, oh, now he's talking. I got to get back.
Well, it won't have to be exact necessarily, but I think if we can change the screen every 20, 30 seconds, it might just add a little bit more.
Well, okay, then in that case, yeah, because then I don't have to come from scrolling to back here and click it and then back to scrolling.
I don't know. I'll just play with it tonight. I won't be changing it every 10 seconds. That can be distracting for you, right? But I think after you're done with a reading, let's go to the side-by-side view, and now you're talking about it. Okay, here he's saying this, and notice in verse 3 that he said this. Here's what it means. I think it's visually it's going to be helpful because when you're reading the Word of God, let's go into full screen, and there's no doubt about what you're talking about, right?
Right. Well, and the whole reason why we started this call, don't forget, is that I was trying to figure out the digital whiteboard, which works, but it shows dark, and I can't figure that out.
Plug it in again. So your full screen, your full brightness on your tablet, right?
Yep. It's just a screen share issue. And I might look and see if there's another software.
It didn't look that dark to me. I mean, slightly darker than the white background, but it was like grayish, you know? It wasn't that bad.
It didn't? I'm going to do it again.
Plug it in again. The video you sent on Facebook, I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, it's a little darker, but who cares? That was my first reaction, you know? It looks.
Was it? Okay, let's try it.
It's not like I can't see what you're writing. I mean, there was no functionality lost. It was just a preference thing, I think.
Well, functionality for sure was not lost.
Yeah. So plug it in, bro. Let's see what you got.
So this is what it'll look like.
And so your screen is showing a white background?
My laptop shows it that dark. My iPad is normal. Look how bright that is. Full brightness. My iPad's normal, but my computer screen through the share program makes it that dark. So it isn't StreamYard that's making it that dark. It's the program itself that does the screencast. So I'm trying to, it's called Mirror 360. I mentioned it to you on the phone last Monday.
Yeah, it's not mirroring anything.
What's
Let's
that?
see. So there are options. Let me try to find some instructions for you.
But there are probably some other screencast apps out there. I've tried to Google a few times why Mirror 360 shows a dark screen. I'm looking for background things that are running that are using memory that maybe I could close.
So go into your settings. I don't know what a PC looks like, but go into your settings.
Yeah, I'm in my task manager that shows all the background stuff.
Okay, so go into like display or monitors, whatever you would say for like your second monitor, and you might be able to change the brightness of that, or go a different color.
Well, no, this is on my regular laptop screen. It's not even on my monitor.
Right, but it's reading it from another monitor. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, so go to my
So
regular settings.
it's treating your laptop or your tablet right now as a second monitor.
Okay, so go to settings.
So with me, I've got 3 monitors at work, including my laptop. And so I can go in and I can change the color profile for each of those, and I can adjust the color and the resolution for each of those monitors just in my settings. Right?
Yeah. Okay, so here's
That's
my setting.
what we want to find for you, because you might be able to turn up the brightness on it.
Gotcha. So I'm in settings.
Go to system and then display. Yep. Hey, change brightness for the built-in display. Oh, turn off that nightlife thing.
But it's off. It says it's off until 9 p.m.
Turn that off, and then... So here's where you would go in. You were asking, how do I change my display resolution? That's it right there.
But this is for, if you look at the top here, I could say which monitor for, but this is just a program. This is for Mirror 360.
We'll just try to turn off the nightlight thing and see if
and it's still dark. It's
same
still, Mirror 360 is still the same. Multiple extended displays, advanced display settings.
So the color format, RGB, maybe you can change that to something else. I don't know.
Because that's for the entire laptop screen instead of just this random app, which is Mirror 360, because it's just the app that's running that.
Gotcha. And it's full brightness, right?
Yep, my laptop is, but I go to the app itself and there's no settings in the app, which is dumb.
Can you change the background color to a specific color in your whatever 360?
Yes. I can
change it to like red and see what happens. Is it still darker?
Okay, I'll stop.
Because what it might be doing is you might not have a background color set for your tablet, and it's defaulting to like a gray, right?
A background for my tablet or for the program?
Your program, yeah. We'll call that.
Well, the program
It's still dark then.
This is the program. Do you see it?
Yep. So it's still dark even if you choose pink, right?
Yeah. So I choose white. Now it's white. Choose pink. Now it's pink, but it shows a dark version of the pink.
All right. Yeah. So I don't know. Can you download a new? Is everything darker?
Yeah, the whole iPad's darker. See?
The whole iPad. Okay, so it's not a software issue.
It's the Mirror 360 issue. It's the app. It's the screen share issue that I'm using. So I can try and find another app. I mean, it's really mind-boggling why they would do that. Mirror 360 dark display.
Screen share iPad, darker display. How to share iPad screen on StreamYard. Let's just see what their best recommendations are, right?
Yeah. How to geek. How to mirror your iPad screen on your Windows PC.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a link. I want you to watch this video. I'm gonna watch it too. And let's
Only
just,
screen is an option.
Hidden little hack things that people don't really know that you can do because it's not obvious, right? It's not obvious.
Oh, share that and we'll watch it together.
You go up to File.
what?
Just put that on the screen and watch it at the same time.
Oh,
I can hear it.
share screen. Are you seeing it?
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want.
Are you hearing the audio?
You never need to pick up a camera or use any fancy
awesome.
software. With Doodly,
Hello and welcome to the live stream.
Shut up.
Or if you're watching the replay, I'd love to answer them for you at the end, if possible. Be on camera. And two, it's just a really interesting and nice way of, see actually or the USB-C cable. Up QuickTime, right? QuickTime Player. So once you've opened up QuickTime, you need to make sure that your iPad or your iPhone is plugged in via the cable, whether that's the Lightning cable or the USB-C cable. It's plugged in on your iPad, and the other side is plugged into your computer. That has to happen. Otherwise, it can't find it, right? So you may need to allow the permissions. You may need to allow it to try it. So how cool is that? So this is exactly the same iPad screen that you saw before. And that is my iPad screen now opened up using QuickTime, but we're not done yet. So this is it opened up. So I'm just going to move this
Opened
to
up
What program is she using?
you to go up to 5.
She said QuickTime.
That's the program name.
Well, it's native on all Apple computers. I wonder if that's got built-in support for that kind of thing,
What did you type in? Download QuickTime Player. Oh, I thought maybe I did download it once upon a time.
Yeah, I don't know if...
Oh, I
PC.
downloaded it to my previous PC. Download QuickTime for Windows. Okay.
Okay, so share, if I do...
Oh, it says QuickTime 7 for Windows is no longer supported by Apple. New versions of Windows since 2009 have included support for key, blah, blah, blah. Oh. Windows 10.
I don't know, man. Weird.
What's weird?
Just that it would do that,
Oh, that it would mirror with the dark screen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try it with some of these other ones. So this one here that Google just recommended, it's called Lonely Screen, but you don't have any trial. You have to pay $16 to use it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to pay unless I can try it. Downloads, QuickTime Player. So the QuickTime one is a hard plugin. He's saying.
What do you mean? I don't know. Should we keep watching that video then? She's on a Mac, I think.
Well, but it's just the app, right?
QuickTime.
I don't know.
Right?
Let's listen.
QuickTime Player. So once you've opened up QuickTime, you need to make sure that your iPad or your iPhone is plugged in via the cable, whether that's the Lightning cable or the USB-C cable. It's plugged in on your iPad, and the other side is plugged into your computer. That has to happen. Otherwise, it can't find it, right? So you may need to allow the permissions. You may need to allow it to trust. And once you've done that, remember, we're still in QuickTime. I want you to go up to File and New Movie Recording. And this will open up, you'll see it here. This is my iPad screen, right? So how cool is that? So this is exactly the same iPad. And that is my iPad screen now opened up using QuickTime, but we're not done yet. So this is it opened up. So I'm just going to move this to screen for now. So now, once we're in StreamYard and you're on a live stream, what you want to do to actually start sharing the iPad screen is you want to go to Share. So this share icon at the bottom of StreamYard now. And then we want to click on Share Screen, right? And just continue along, follow that prompt to share the screen. And then we want to click on Application Window. And then we want to click on, you'll see that new movie recording. You'll see that QuickTime.
Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'm downloading QuickTime so I can try it. I mean, I just selected, I do the exact same that I was doing with the other app. I just selected the window of QuickTime and it will show my iPad.
Yep. So if you have the record a new movie, you're not hitting record yet, but you're just showing the screen. You can hit the record button at any time, but you don't. So that just has the window of the iPad in there, and then you would use your application targeting for the new window. Instead of a browser or a tab, just choose an application and pick QuickTime.
That's what I was doing with the Mirror 360.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah, I would choose I was saying screen share, and since it was on my laptop as a window, I picked that window to screen share.
All right. Awesome. Still darker though.
What's that?
Still darker though.
Yeah. But that was for Mirror 360. So
you're downloading QuickTime right now, right?
Yeah, it's downloaded right now.
So this didn't really tell you anything new then, right? This is the same thing you were doing.
Well, but I wasn't doing that application, so it's the application that was making it dark. So I'm going to try a new application with QuickTime and see.
Yeah. So if QuickTime is your link to your iPad as far as the visuals, it should be fine. I'm guessing because Apple owns QuickTime and the device, it's probably going to be pretty seamless, you know?
Let's see. So we've got QuickTime Player. Some of the file associated types are blah blah. Okay, whatever. Just open the app, please. Okay, I've got it open. Well, it's loading.
And in QuickTime, I think you go to one of the menus up there and you do Start New Recording. Wow, this looks old school, man.
because they stopped updating QuickTime a while back, so it might not be new enough
Gotcha.
because I don't have a Mac. In which
Yeah.
case, I'll go looking for another option.
I mean, PC people have to be doing this all over the planet right now. You know, I can't imagine there being a breakdown in this type kind of a usage.
Man, it's good loading. It might be too old.
Are you familiar with a Mac?
I mean, it's been a while since I've used one, but I've definitely used them a lot before.
Because you could use mine tonight if you wanted to, if we could get mine to work. You know, mouse plugged in just like you would a PC. It's just a little different.
Yeah, although I think I'm going to go buy a Bluetooth mouse because it's taking up one of my USB ports. And I only have 3 USB ports. And of the 3, my mouse is 1, my camera is 1, and my mic is 1. Which means I wouldn't have one to plug this in, assuming it worked. Oh, it still says it's loading. Good grief. So I
think it's file new recording or something like that.
But none of this says new recording. Oh, it says new audio recording. This feature allows you to record audio on your computer.
Oh, this looks really old, man. I haven't seen this.
Oh, I have to get QuickTime 7 Pro to enable.
I wouldn't bother. You know, it's no longer supported, I don't think.
Right, it's not supported.
All right.
This other app was perfect, but it's dark, and I can't. No one even has the addressing the question. No one even addresses the question of the dark screen thing.
Let's see. I'm going to go to StreamYard's FAQ.
Gotcha. Well, I still don't think it's a StreamYard issue though.
But they'll at least have something on there about sharing screens, maybe. Screen sharing. I'm going to read this article, look for iPad, right? And just see if they have best practices for how to do that.
Gotcha. Holy cow, this app has a low rating. Sheesh.
So how urgent is it for you to have your ability to write on your tablet?
It's not urgent because I did it last week without it. It just makes the presentation better, and that's what I said last week. So.
Okay. But it's not like a part of your lesson you have to draw a little picture to explain kind of thing?
No, just to add to it. It was one thing that I wanted to do, like I told you, and then it was one of the feedback things that, like Chandria mentioned, she's like, it would have been nice to have some of those key points to come back to visually so that an hour and a half in.
Yeah. The idea being like my timeline. I went back to it to keep framing the conversation, right?
Yeah, frame the conversation, yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, I'm checking on a new one. Let's see. Screencast. $3 days for free, and then $4.99 per week. Now that.
Here's the thing. Here's what's confusing. I don't know why you would need software to do this. I would imagine the PC has something built in where you can like, what's the equivalent of like QuickTime Player for the PC? Is it like Windows Media Center or something?
Windows Media Player.
Yeah, open that up and try it through there. And
Windows Media Player, I don't think records; it just plays.
what do you have that would record something? Anything? Camtasia. I mean, any software like that for screen recordings?
I don't know. I've never done it. If there is, I just don't know one. Well, I can try the 3-day trial at least right now, and if it doesn't work, I'll stop the trial instantly. And if it does work, lifetime's only $19.99, so it's worth $20 for life if it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Please connect to a device.
All right, Dustin. So best practices, let's review some of these for tonight. Because we're having this recording and it's also going to be a podcast.
Hot start.
What?
The hot start.
Say it again.
The hot start. We want to start fast.
Well, yeah, and also make sure you repeat the topic of your presentation. So at the very beginning,
Right.
welcome, whatever, and show this thing. If you want to, it's just an overlay. But tonight we're going to be talking about does whatever. We need that because this is going to be a podcast, and so they don't have visuals. So whatever you're showing, make sure you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Make sure they hear it.
Yeah, so you just keep that in mind. This is going to be audio as well. So everything you're showing on the screen, read it out to them, And that's the main thing at the very beginning is within the first 5 seconds, like hit us with the title of your topic. And that goes a long ways for the podcast, I believe.
This is weird. So I don't know how to use this app. It doesn't tell me how to use it. Optimize speed. Screencast with latency is supreme, 0 seconds. I hit it. It says error. Please connect to a device. Well, what device do I need to connect it to?
Where are you? Where are you seeing that error?
On my iPad, I just downloaded this new app.
Okay.
Okay, connect. Please connect to a device. Still not connected. So how do I connect to? How does this work? Select a device. Make sure your device is connecting to the same Wi-Fi. Yeah, so I want to say the title. I guess I'll write this down so I don't forget. Like, should I say welcome to Doctrine of Christ podcast? Or like, what's the ideal?
Say it again. Sorry.
So should I say the phrase welcome to Doctrine of Christ podcast, or do I just say today? I just start with tonight we're talking about.
I wouldn't even do any branding at all. I would just say topic tonight is boom. Let's get started. And you can even say, I don't know, I don't want to do a lot of the housekeeping stuff at the beginning. I think we can have overlays while you're talking that are like subscribe to YouTube, but you don't have to say it, right? Because then it makes the audio on the podcast sound weird.
Yeah, we don't need to say it at all now because we have the overlays.
Yeah, let overlays speak for themselves. If you see one pop up, don't feel the need to say what's on the screen at all, but just keep presenting and ignore what I'm doing on the overlays.
So, as far as the hot start means, like I say the title and I give some highlights of the presentation right up front to try and hook people that are especially watching the replay.
You might you might even say tonight's conversation is going to be about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Just set the expectations for people, but say, however, we are going to be covering these topics. Boom, boom. Set the expectations real quick in a paragraph. I don't know, man. I'm still figuring it out. I don't know the exact words to say, but I think the quick start at the very beginning. What's your take on a prayer? Me personally, not a huge fan.
I think if you have a nice hot start with a good intro where other people really want it, and I think we can be successful with it. Other live streamers do it. Ariane's right.
Yeah.
So, and then for the podcast, you can
edit it out.
Edit it out for the podcast. It'll just be there on YouTube.
Yep.
So I say we still do it. I'll just won't do it as soon as people are used to.
Yeah.
I mean, like my intro won't just be like a 30-second intro. It will be like a trailer, it'll be like some highlights from the stuff, and people will be like, whoa, that's what we're talking about. And I say, okay, so right before we begin, we're gonna just have a prayer. The people are already like, okay, well, yeah, let's get going into this stuff,
And let's try to have someone who's tech savvy already lined up, like we did at Jim last week, right? So this thing is scheduled for tonight, right? Already? I think I've got it on YouTube already. We're not doing Facebook. Okay, we're good on YouTube.
Searching for device. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's just saying it's searching for a device, and I don't understand how it's supposed to find a device.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because my laptop's connected to it. I clicked on FAQ and it's not FAQ, it's just a way to contact us, which I appreciate being easy and quick. But give me the actual FAQ.
Devices and equipment. Let me see if there's anything in here. Nothing about iPad. Screen sharing.
Okay, I don't remember my passwords to stuff.
Say what?
Trying to sign in something on this program, trying to get it to work, but please connect to your TV. How do I connect this to my TV?
What are you referring to? Like, is it your iPad?
It's this app. It's called Screen Mirroring TV Cast.
Are you on your iPad right now?
Yeah.
I don't think you need an app for your iPad. I think you need a software for your computer.
Well, in this case, it looks like it's supposed to be a hardware for my TV so that I can screencast to it. Okay, well, I'm going to unsubscribe to this. Because that obviously isn't working.
Let me see if you can set up your iPad as a second screen on Windows. Windows second monitor, iPad. Because that would solve all the issues if we could just do that, right? How to use your iPad as a second monitor on any computer.
What does it say?
Thankfully, a few third-party apps can help fill the void of on other PCs, Macs, and iPads and Android tablets. The ideal option, Sidecar on Mac, iOS, Catalina. You don't have Mac, so let's see. Or you're on a Windows or an Android user. Splashtop Wired X Display is a third-party app that can turn your tablet into a second monitor.
Well,
It only-
Splashtop, that was done through Mirror 360. It said something about Splashtop when it was sharing it.
So try Splashtop, and what you want to do is just set up your iPad as a second monitor instead of your display. Well, in addition to your display, maybe. I don't know if you can handle 3 monitors at once, but then you can just choose between the two, and they're wired the same way.
So Splashtop, remote access software. Mirror 360 was using Splashtop, so I have a worry that that's not going to work. But let's see.
Well, let's see. Let me send you this on Facebook real quick. Here's the link. Wait for it.
I'm loading Facebook.
Okay, yeah, Facebook Messenger. It's called Wired X Display.
Download for PC. Is it free? This would
Probably
be nice.
premium, free trial, then paid, I'd imagine. This one looks pretty legit, though.
It shows the iPad on that homepage. It shows the iPad plugged in to the computer. So we'll see. This is fine. That requires that.
Yeah, so this will just you'll have one monitor that has all your text on it that you're going to share for Gilead and stuff, right? And then if you can have 2 monitors, your laptop would be the other monitor.
Right.
So that would be ideal. Then you don't have to fiddle with anything else. Oh, then you could actually use the mobile app of Gilead's translation instead of the website
Which would be nice, wouldn't it?
to show. Then it doesn't have all the Hebrew stuff, I don't think. It's a little bit more compact.
So frame rate normal instead of high, and quality normal instead of high.
Yeah, I'd go with normal quality. I mean, as long as you're just showing like an image of what you're drawing and text, you don't need super high anything, right?
Okay.
If you're showing like raw images that you took of Sahara Desert, yeah, you probably want higher.
Enable auto launch. Start Splashtop wired X display agent automatically when your computer starts. No. Enable mirror mode. Doesn't tell me what it is, but
Mirror mode means it's the exact same as what you're seeing on your screen.
oh, okay.
You don't want that, per se.
So I have the driver. Set resolution. Okay, it's already set. So now what?
It's looking so far so good.
How do I start this thing? So how do I start it?
It's an application. Just launch it, I think.
Didn't put one on the desktop. Okay, I think I just clicked it. Keep clicking it. Tap. isn't it much?
You're gonna be so happy when this works.
I'm gonna feel like a warrior with victory if I can get it to work.
Yep.
It's not launching. I don't get it. I keep clicking on the program and it's not launching.
Really.
Open file location.
This is so complicated.
Open. Yeah, why is it gonna be like this?
No luck.
What does it happen? I'm just finishing my letter. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. Why would it launch? I don't know enough about computers to be like,
Don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna mute right now. I'm gonna call Isabel.
okay,
Buenos dias, Senor Marcos.
Hey, what's up, Jacob?
Not much. How the heck are you?
Good, dude. Happy Monday morning.
Happy Monday morning to you as well. Well, it's Monday afternoon now. Jeez Louise, get your time up.
Are you like rappelling off a roof, installing solar panels as we speak, or you got some time to talk?
Not at the moment. I am safely in a parking space in my vehicle.
Okay, cool. Hey, I'm with Stingray right now, and tonight he's going to be presenting another live stream, right?
Yeah.
And so he and I are wondering how to get his iPad to show as a second monitor. Have you ever done that?
I have not done that. I know that there's different programs which allow that. I have not done that.
Okay.
There's the person who would probably have the most insight would be Steve Ray Sorensen. He's the friend of Justin Griffin's who's been helping out with some of these productions.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks, man. No problem.
See you.
All right, see ya. He has no clue.
Okay, I'm gonna read my email now. I think I have it's a few paragraphs long, but I think each point is I try to make it succinct if I can make it better. I'd love to return to the group. I'm more than happy to agree to avoid posting links, and I've never attempted to poach or recruit, so I will agree to continue that. Please allow for some clarifying. The Doctrine of Christ Facebook group and website is not an organized group. Those involved have no agreed upon set beliefs and no set goals other than to try and teach from the scriptures. The majority of us are still in the church. I do not know of any of my friends here that has said to anyone else to leave the church. I personally would appreciate that rumor to stop, especially as it pertains to me. If there are instances where someone from our group has annoyed any of the admins or members of the Isaiah group, please reach out to me and let me know, and I will personally have a conversation with them. Since we're not an organized group, I can't really stop anyone. We don't have any meetings or anything, but I'll do my best to persuade them. In the case of Saturday night, I reached out to PM, a fellow Isaiah group member, to have further discussion of her experiences which she had posted, which is not an attempt to poach a recruit. I haven't sent any presentation links or group joining links. I consider myself an ally to all the work of Isaiah Institute. I promote constantly and direct people to it, and by far the majority of the Doctrine of Christ Facebook group users also utilize Abraham's Isaiah translation, and we discuss his books and work often. We direct people to Isaiah Institute page and Facebook group and websites. I praise Rodolfo behind his back frequently for all of his knowledge and hard work. On that note, we welcome any of you to present any time to our Facebook or YouTube channel on any scripture-centered content. There are over 25 different contributors, and it would be awesome to add to that. Again, we're not an organized group with a set belief system. What every contributor believes varies and has no bearing on other members. Hope that clarifies some things. All my love, Dustin.
That's good. Hey, can you, this sounds self-serving, but can you throw in there a reference to me as well? And just say, like, I think very highly of Adolfo as well. And you can even say, even my friend Mark thinks very highly of.
Oh, I hit the send button as soon as you said sounds good.
No worries, man. No worries at all. But, you can even mention, hey, my friend who is the website administrator who curates all that stuff on doctrineofchrist.com is a huge fan of your institute as well. That might get him to chill out too,
As a side note, our website curator.
And you can say Mark Curtis if you want to. I don't care. Or Mark.
Mark Curtis is also a huge fan.
Say he's an active member of the church too. Is an active member of the church and a big fan of the Institute. And he thinks really highly of, Gileadi and Rodolfo, who he's met on a few occasions. If that helps, I don't know. I mean, if the web...
You met Rodolfo?
I've talked to him on the phone twice for probably 2 hours total. Yeah, he's I really like him, man. The dude is a knowledge base, and I'll occasionally throw out that he's so fixated on this Lamanite prophet.
Sure, but that's different. I mean, who cares?
But that's not even a rag on him. It's just like every conversation goes back to that verse, and it's like a stalemate for us, I mean, that might work for you to pepper me in there as well, because I am a primary admin on at least on the website. I do the majority of the posting the content, so I don't want them to think that there's some anti-Mormon guy who's behind it all, right? So you don't have to throw that out. But, next time you talk to them, you can throw my name in the mix and say, hey, even our web developer who does the website, like he's in the church and he's just looking for hard-hitting scriptural-based lessons, and anyone who's willing to deliver that, he'll throw them on the website, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would love for more people to post or to present Wednesday nights or Tuesdays, Like I've even asked, Brett Moore, he goes by Peter James.
Yeah.
I asked him twice to present. He turned me down, you know what I mean? I would even let Watcher do it. I know he's not going to ever face a camera ever in his life or engage a live audience, but anyone who's willing to teach from the scriptures, even Matt Lorkey, I would give a Wednesday night microphone to, The problem is that the critics will never, ever take the bait. They're not interested in teaching. I know you got some good stuff on your mind when you tuned me out for 10 seconds.
Sorry, some Herrick Mulestein also just
Yeah.
commented in this email thread. He
He's
said,
a gen-
Rodolfo expressed my feelings exactly. So basically, they're pinning on me what they're associating all of us exactly the same. Like everything that Dustin's done, that they've heard back from, or
Yep.
other people. Plus we share the same name.
I'll tell you what, if I could silently vote one person off the island, it would be Dustin Smith.
Off which island?
The island of how the hell are we getting such a bad reputation among so many people we've never talked to?
Right. Well, yeah, I think
He's not the only one, but he's the most active. Like
Well,
80%.
you try and talk to him about it, and he gets so proud and closed mindset. Well, we're right, so I don't have to do anything different. It's like, dude, come on, man.
And he's a Philite too. So like everything he does is try to get a Zoom meeting lined up with Phil, which doesn't help our cause either,
So he says, Rodolfo expressed my feelings exactly. I do agree that the first message to Dustin should have been private. We need to clarify the rules that people cannot post outside links to religious groups or try to send private messages to others or criticize any religious leader. Oh, good grief. Or another's beliefs, which is fine because I haven't done that openly. If he explicitly... Sorry?
He's a big Brotherite, huge. I've talked to him a couple times too.
If he explicitly agrees to these terms, I'm okay with adding him. They are very aggressive. See, what's this they again? With missionary efforts, we must be very clear with the rules for the group and should repost them. I would suspect that every one of the people to say so confidently the servant is none other than Joseph Smith on every post on the topic are all Doctrine of Christ people. That's not true. I'm going to reply just to him.
So what is this? Facebook
Clarification.
or email?
This is an email. That statement is not true about people who post about the servant being Joseph. Case in point, it's the very post they're talking about from Saturday night.
And you can let them know that the Doctrine of Christ group, quote unquote, doctrineofchrist.com wasn't even a website until exactly 1 year ago, and neither was the Facebook. So Abraham's been hearing about Joseph Smith being the end-time servant for probably, 20 years now from different people? And so to pin that on our group is just silly because all of our resources in our communities are just brand new, like less than a year old for the most part, right?
Website and Facebook group are only a year old, and people have been talking about Joseph returning for a very long time.
For decades. Right?
Right. Decades. Eric, for clarification, that statement is not true about people who post about the servant being Joseph. Case in point is the very post we're talking about from Saturday night. The website and Facebook group. Oh, yeah. She is not a Doctrine of Christ
Regular.
Facebook group member. She's not even a member of the group.
Yeah. Right.
Also, I'm not sure what is the they you are referring to.
The what?
The they,
Oh,
when he
yeah.
says they are very aggressive with their missionary efforts. Also, again, for clarification, you said they are aggressive in missionary efforts when I have not had anything to do with that, and I suspect it is likely just a couple of individuals
You can throw in parentheses, probably Dustin Smith, for
who
example.
come off a bit, who are a bit overzealous, who are likely overzealous. Well,
So
I don't know if I want to throw Dustin Smith under the bus, but
Well, yeah, but whatever.
oh, I will say in parentheses, please don't confuse me with Dustin Smith.
Right. You can say, don't include me with Dustin Smith, comma, maybe, who has been known to be aggressive in his missionary zeal. Right?
No, I don't want to throw him under the bus.
All
I
right.
just wanted to say don't confuse me with him.
You're just differentiating his efforts from your own. It's not about, making fun of him, but
Well, but since that's not my ordeal, he's not my team. He's not on my council. It's like, okay, if he's aggressive, then send him a message. Send him a personal message and stop blaming all of Doctrine of Christ for a couple of people.
right.
Like, we have hundreds of people in our group. Please stop blaming all of us for the actions of a couple. And then we need to probably message people and say, hey, the whole COC community is getting blamed for the actions of a couple guys. Send them a message directly and ask them to stop, and I imagine they will humbly agree. Should I say that?
Yeah.
tell them to contact them directly or tell them to tell me, because then that kind of creates it like a group. Tell me and I'll go talk to them, which I already did, but
Maybe just wait till another response. Is this a follow-up for the one you already sent?
yeah, because I sent the one as soon as you said it sounds good.
Yeah.
And then I read Herrick's.
I wouldn't send him anything else until he responds again.
Tell who responds, Herrick?
Anybody, yeah.
Oh, well, Herrick, I sent my response and Herrick responded at the same time.
Oh, so you guys crossed?
So we crossed, and that's when Herrick said they're very aggressive, and
Oh, okay.
the they, and also I imagine that anyone that says the servants Joseph are all Doctrine of Christ people.
I see. So you're refuting that one.
So I'm refuting that. Herrick, that statement is not true about people who post about the servant being Joseph, all being Doctrine of Christ people. Case in point is the very post we're talking about from Saturday night. She is not a Doctrine of Christ Facebook group member. The website and Facebook group are only a year old, and people have been talking about Joseph returning for decades. Also, again, for clarification, you said they are aggressive in missionary efforts when I have not messaged any Isaiah group member with any group join links or presentation links. I suspect it is likely just a couple of individuals who are the offenders. Also, please don't confuse me with Dustin Smith, same first name. I think I'll just say that.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you already send it?
Not yet.
It does sound a little pointed. Maybe just throw in a soft nicety or some, some gentlemanly conduct.
Yeah, you're right.
It's too, hey, don't do this, don't do this. I never said this. It's very defensive, but just kind of temper it, maybe in your greeting or at the very end with something a little kinder. Because he's a pretty sensitive dude.
Yeah, his is really pointed too. Eric, thank you for chiming in.
Or like, hi, Herrick. Even like a hi.
Oh,
just something.
thank you for chiming in. Allow me to attempt to clarify. So those are some softer verbiages. Thank you for chiming in. Hi, Herrick. Thank you for chiming in. Allow me to attempt to clarify. That statement is not accurate instead of true. About people who post about the servant being Joseph, all being Doctrine of Christ people. Case in point is the very post we're talking about from Saturday night. She's not a Doctrine of Christ Facebook group member. The website and Facebook group are only a year old, and people have been talking about Joseph returning for decades. Also, again, for clarification, you said they are aggressive missionary efforts. So, I suspect then I'll just say.
You might even say missionary to what? There's no church, there's no organization, there's nothing to recruit people into other than just discussing gospel principles, right?
Also, we're not trying to get people to join anything other than to watch a presentation. Well, I won't even say we because I'm not. Also, those who do, seems that they are not trying to get people to join anything other than to watch a presentation.
Or to join a community discussion about a topic.
Community discussion group, and never with any intent to lead away from the church.
I wonder if a couple sentences even about our sort of. No, it's probably just too much. Too many words is not good, but
they've been having meetings about this for a while now, so it's good to bring it all out and address it and be like, hey, you guys have been talking about a lot of stuff and none of you have ever actually talked to us.
But I was thinking, what tends to soften some people's hearts is when they realize that, look, yeah, we do tend to do some missionary work, but we're out trying to teach people the doctrine of Christ in its simplicity and clarity. And in fact, we interface a lot with anti-Mormons, ex-members of the church, you know, and we teach them, hey, you don't have to throw away the good stuff. We're actually trying to bring people back to Jesus Christ. You know, that's what the missionary work is for. I think in their minds, they're probably thinking, well, their missionary work that's aggressive is they're trying to get people out of the church. It's like, well, actually, no. We're taking people that have thrown all of it away in some cases and just saying, bringing them back to the scriptures. They're reading scriptures more intently now than they ever did in the box or out of the box or out of the church, right? So there's some benefits to the missionary work that I don't think anybody would have a problem with. They shouldn't, at least.
So I'm adding after that, we only want to teach the doctrine of Christ, which is what leads people to him. That is our only unifying effort and goal, scriptures and personal revelation. That's all we hope to accomplish.
Comma, if anything, you know?
If anything. And I personally feel that it's the same goal that each of you share. Or should I just say, and I imagine it's the same goal each of you share.
Yeah. And you want to really get them? Just say, hey, you know, members and teachers within the Doctrine of Christ community recommend Gileadi's books all the time and send links to his website. Say, should we stop doing that also? Question mark. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, part of me is like, wait a minute, the hypocrisy. You guys are doing huge missionary efforts, and people consider his stuff outcast, but I don't want to do a us versus them kind of thing. But you're right. It's hypocrisy.
Our community is like pushing Gileadi's books. I've told several people, at least a couple dozen probably, that, hey, buy Gileadi's translation of Isaiah. It's incredible. You have to have it on your shelf if you're serious about the scriptures. You know? And so, like, us being aggressive missionaries and stuff, it's benefiting the Isaiah Institute. I don't think anybody's trying to get people to not be a Gileadi listener, right? If anything, we're helping his community grow and his message. Have you already sent it?
Nope.
It's getting pretty long at this point, right?
No, it's just 3 paragraphs.
And you can say, for, you know, maybe in the end you can say, hey, I'm presenting tonight about a topic very relevant to our day, and I will be sharing my screen with 300 to 600 people and showing the Isaiah Institute side-by-side translation, you know, and plugging the Isaiah Institute's resources. Right? But I don't know if that's just if that's an answer to a question nobody asked, perhaps, you know. But we got to tear down these walls between Doctrine of Christ group versus Isaiah Institute. Like, that's so stupid that there's even that notion coming up, you know. What are you thinking?
I'm just typing that out. In fact, tonight I personally am presenting on the topic from our roundtable discussion, The Covenant with Death, and I use Abraham's translation for that.
And I show it on screen. Maybe just say I'm actually showing, for half the presentation, I'm showing Gileadi's side-by-side translation.
The viewers.
And encouraging my viewers to use his Isaiah book. I mean, that's like, you're doing missionary work for the Isaiah Institute. Hundreds of people, you know?
We're on the same team, I promise. Yeah, we're on the same team, I promise. So it's like a very much like, everyone relax. I'm on your side.
Are you letting him know that you're going to be sharing the screen from the Isaiah Institute for your material?
And I use Abraham's translation for that and promote it to the viewers and encourage them to use it. Promote it to the viewers. promote it and show it to viewers and encourage them to use it. On the same team, I promise, there is no thought or feeling of us versus them in my mind or in the minds of anyone else I personally know that's in the Doctrine of Christ Facebook group.
Or even to say that's familiar with both organizations.
Oh,
You know,
that's familiar with both. That's familiar
Well,
with
maybe both of our websites. You know,
maybe with both what?
that's familiar with both of our websites or both organizations. Well, we're not an organization that much. I guess we kind of are, but
I'll just say websites, Facebook groups.
yeah.
We're on the same team, I promise. There's no thought or feeling of us versus them in my mind or in the minds of anyone else I personally know who's familiar with both of our websites, Facebook groups.
Yeah. There's enough groups for everybody, you know. We belong to lots of groups. Okay, well, we're coming up on 2.5 hours for this sucker, man. Great Zoomcast.
Okay, well, now that it's doing that, let's see what happens when I share the screen again and try and populate new tabs.
Okay.
I guess I need to actually make a new window first. And throw it over, close it down. Pop it up over here. And then let's screen number 2 and share. And there we go. Then I populate that tab. 3, 2, 1. It's there. Next one. 3, 2, 1. It's there. This is good news.
And you're going down to the links, right?
What do you mean going down to the links?
You have anchor points in the URLs that take you to the verse that you want.
Well, Bible Hub doesn't have that.
I'll bet you they do. Let me find out what it is.
Well, I tried. I couldn't figure it out. I tried, you betcha. But anytime I have an LDS one, yes, anchor.
All right, so you're on what? Jeremiah 23?
Isaiah Institute didn't have any anchors, but they're too poor to figure that out.
They might, man. I bet I can find them by looking at the source code.
Okay, well, try it because I tried lots of iterations up at the top, and that's all I knew how to do it.
Okay. Let me share my screen and show you how to find out what they are. You down with that?
Yeah.
Where in the F is my screen? All right, there it is. So share screen. I'll just do my entire screen. Okay, so what I do is I go onto a page and I'll highlight the little number.
Okay.
And you go to inspect.
Okay.
Yours would be like see source code or something like that. Now I don't know if this has it or not. Span class. They don't. Okay, so this particular one. Hold on.
It's not a big deal because in most of the cases, Mark, I'm reading the whole chapter or I'm reading from the beginning of the chapter, so I don't need to anchor these Bible Hub ones really at all.
That's right, but
oh, Abraham freaking should apologize, but I'm not. I need to let go of the pride. I want to just send him a private text and say, dude, you don't mean an apology.
no, it's not worth
I know it's not worth it.
making it personal or whatever. But
I know.
You really expect an academic to overtly apologize for anything they've ever published or written? They don't do that.
Someone who accuses me of having these grandiose claims and being a slime and hypocrite when I didn't do anything that he talked about. And I'm like, dude, you took that too far.
All right, so Jeremiah. Let me try to find you a real version. Oops, this is Isaiah 23, but we'll just pretend like it's the same thing. Oh, that's just for verses. Never mind. All right, well, let me go to the LDS site real quick. This will be super fast because I know these guys have it, right? Libraries, scriptures, New Testament, 1 Corinthians, whatever. So if you go here and you inspect it to show the source code, you're looking for an ID number. See this paragraph?
Hang on, I gotta expand that. It's too small. Yeah.
See how PID equals P2?
Yep.
That's what you're looking for anchors. See, ID equals P3, P4, P5, P6. Those are the paragraph numbers listed.
Yep.
And so that's how you can do hash P2 and have it go right there because it's just looking for that little anchor point on the page with the ID.
Gotcha. And in the and somehow they built it so that you could just say #2 and ignore the P.
Exactly. So on Doctrine of Christ, if I go to my article here, right? If you want to link to somebody straight to this thing, to this section of the page, so where all they're seeing is my timeline, inspect element, right? H2 ID equals timeline. So you know what you can do? You can do hash timeline. Let me go to new tab. Oops. Oh, man. You with me?
Sorry, Rodolfo just responded saying, I feel absolutely disgusted that you're in an email thread with all of us judging you about this. It doesn't feel right. I'm sorry about this. I'll make sure you're back in the group.
Oh, good. That was nice.
I said, I think I understand how it all happened. It's okay.
Yeah. And maybe you can say, I can talk to some community members who are violating your terms and conditions for you and try to get them to knock it off. But maybe just remind them, hey, we don't have a leadership. There's no organization here. So it's like herding cats, 600 people all with independent brains. And there's no leadership hierarchy, All right, so you watching?
I'm typing what you just said.
If I go to timeline, it goes straight to that place.
Wait, what? Are you talking about the LDS anchors that I already know about?
Yep. But that's how you find it on every website possible. It's not just on my site. Every page that has those anchors,
Gotcha.
It's going to be called ID. So if a header 2 has an ID, the span has an ID, right? You're looking for an ID that's above or near where you want them to see it. And then you can just add that to the end of it with a hash. All right, the end. So was that a message to everybody that Rodolfo had, or just you?
Well, Rodolfo just messaged me privately because we have our own private chat. So the one that I just barely read was his private one to me.
He seems like a reasonable dude.
Yeah, he is, and that's why I don't think he's the one that ratted me to Avraham. I think someone else did.
It might have been that Herrick guy. A lot of those guys are part of Todd McLaughlin's inner circle, and Todd's starting to talk major smack about us. All right, you good? If I could find anything that helps you share your screen to a tablet, I'll let you know. But other than that,
Yeah, I'm going to come back from lunch and try and figure that out. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, you going out to lunch or eating in your kitchen?
I'm going to go out to lunch with a buddy of mine that I just kind of gave a little bit of Doctrine of Christ to last Thursday.
Sweet, dude. Good luck
Thanks. See ya.
with your aggressive missionary work.
Aggressive, yeah.
See you
Trying to
later.
get him to leave the church, yeah.